Alright, so today in the garage we're going to go over garage door maintenance. Most folks are getting ready to put their cars away for the winter, and you have to kind of make sure that not only you're taking care of your cars, but you don't want your garage door to fall down after you've done all that work of restoring your car. What prompted this video is my neighbors on either side of me have had their garage door fall completely off the rails, and in one case I had to go over and help them rope it up to the ceiling before they could get somebody out. That way it didn't fall down onto their cars. Garage doors are under a great deal of tension. They have a spring up here. This spring has a lot of kinetic energy, and it's connected with these spools down this wire that runs all the way down to the bottom of the garage door and is under tension the whole time. So you can see, although there's nothing on that spool, once you start running it up, the weight of the garage door is relieved from that spring under tension. So they're kind of dangerous when you think about it. It's a bomb waiting to go off if you don't maintain it. So what I'm going to go over today is just some of the things that you should look at with your garage door to make sure that it's in proper working order and that it will open and close safely, and to help you maintain your vehicle. So let's get started with this. So the first thing I want to look at is these hinges. There's hinges all up and down each one of these joints, not just the wheels, but each one of these joints have hinges all around the garage door. Each one of these hinges needs to be lubricated. You have to throw some lube in here, and you also need to check to make sure all of these bolts, these machine screws, are tight. Garage doors go up and down, and they create a lot of vibration. They have a lot of heat expansion from the summer to the winter. In the rain, they have a lot of heat expansion. So these joints can become loose, and when they do, the geometry of the garage door becomes even worse. The thing about it is that they slide around, and they kind of depend on a very loose geometry. These joints in here are very loose, and when you increase the play, when you find some loose joints, then you can have some issues with that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go around with a crescent wrench, and I'm not going to over tighten these. I'm just going to give them some torque and make sure that none of them are loose, and go through all of the bolts. There's a lot of them. Every single joint has a couple. So I'm going to go through and get that done. I actually found one of them that is stripped out, so we're gonna address that one independently. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna look at is the independent parts that are moving components, and look for signs of wear. Can you see this little pin here? You can see how it's been rubbing on this little plate. Well, that's going to wear that pin out. If you look at the back side. Typically when you put these release pins in, when you put them on a car or anything like that, you would have a washer that would keep them from, becoming a wear point. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these pins out, and I'm gonna put a washer in behind them just to protect them. There's one on this side, and there's one up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a washer on there just so that those pins don't have any wear, and it'll separate them from the actual mechanism. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. Alright, so there you can see I put a washer in there, That'll keep this from becoming a wear point, and heaven forbid that it would get snagged on something and be ejected and this pin come out. Then you lose control of the door. So I've done that on both the top and the bottom. This one, it was painted surface. You really couldn't see the wear, but it's I think maybe just someone took a shortcut during the installation, but we'll straighten that out. Now, next thing you need to look at is this chain. This chain really does not require a great deal of lubrication. You don't need to goo it up with all kinds of oil and stuff. It'll just become something that'll be a mess. It's on a nylon gear right there, so it's not like it's going to have a lot of wear. But what you do need to look at is the chain itself wearing. And when chains wear, they'll start to sag. And you can see that in my case, this chain is hanging below the trough right there. That is a problem. Well, thankfully, the manufacturer of this device has been thoughtful enough to add a tensioner. So I'm going to go ahead and get a 7/16 wrench, and I'm going to add a little torque on that, and we'll see if we can take the slack out of that chain. See if we can get a good view of the slack coming out of that chain as I tighten this up. There it goes. That feels good now. No longer hanging down. It's rigid. We'll throw a little bit of lube around the connection points back here where it runs through the thing. Just very light lube, and then we'll be good with that. So while I'm up here, this spring, this is the most dangerous part. You can see it has a little tensioner right here. This is what they use to tighten it up, and then they'll clamp it down with these little bolts right in here. But each one of these rotations in the spring is rubbing against the one next to it as it comes in and out of torsion. And so it can make a lot of squeaky noises. You can see a lot of humidity and whatnot will get on there. And sometimes your chain will get rusty and rub against each other. It makes a lot of racket. But you also need to lubricate the chain, or this spring in here. So we're going to throw some white lithium grease on that. You can see right here, I've had my spring replaced once already because it broke. So it's a maintenance thing that you have to maintain. Now I'm going to use some white lithium grease on here, but you'll notice that I have a finished wall. So before I spray any oil in there or any kind of lubricant, I'm going to cover that with a piece of cardboard. So let's go ahead and spray this thing down. There we go. It's a little messy, this white lithium grease, but it stays in there and it doesn't drip away, so it's all good. Right, so on the topic of lubrication, the joints that you need to lubricate are on the inside of these joints right in here. There's like a little tube that goes through and they're flanged out. So you can do a little bit of lube inside that. This wheel rolls like that, so you need to throw a little bit of lube inside there. Some of these you might find have a slot in the top or on the bottom to allow for lubrication to be added in that way. Mine don't have that, so you just need to get a little bit of lube in there just to make sure that these are freewheeling. The wheels on the inside here, in my case, my wheels do not have ball bearings. I don't know if you can see. sometimes you'll get a wheel that is a steel wheel with a ball bearing inside there. My wheels are not steel, they're kind of a plasticky wheel on the outside. My bearing is on the inside in here. So I'm going to put a little bit of grease inside there. But the point is, not grease, but this lithium grease that I have here. And but the point is that you just need to lubricate this so that they don't get too floppy and that they have lubrication. They'll move freely as they move through the channel. Now, when you're lubricating your wheels, you don't want to get a lot of lube inside this channel. The channel should be bone dry. As a matter of fact, in my garage, I do a lot of woodworking. So I'm going to be cleaning out the inside of this channel from any kind of dust or debris that's developed over the years. So let's go ahead and start lubricating all these joints. All right, so next thing we have to look at is this all these safety devices. There is a little light sensor at the bottom of these garage doors. Sometimes you'll get spiders, leaves, combination of spiders and leaves and spidery leaves that are going to build up on here, and you don't want that to block the visual sensor. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up all the spiders and get all the leaves out of the area here. In my case, I stack a lot of vertical stock alongside my garage here, and I certainly don't want any of this to get involved in the mechanism. So I'm going to clean all this away and just make sure that anything that could cause it to jam is not going to be a problem. All right, so just cleaning away all the debris here and making sure that there's nothing down in here. Look at some plumbing equipment, piece of PVC pipe, and these leaves and whatnot that blow in here. Just need to clean all that out. So take care of your safety equipment. Make sure you have good line of sight between them. Clean both sides, and make sure that that you know, if the garage door is coming down and somebody breaks that line, that it's able to stop like it's intended. In this next little step here, like I said earlier, I'm gonna clean out the channel to make sure that these wheels don't pick up any debris as they're running through this channel. The horizontal surfaces are more likely to collect dust and debris. The vertical surfaces, you can clean those just to make sure that any of the lube that you put on the joints here doesn't get inside there and get picked up by the wheels to make it sticky up here to pick more horizontal surfaces and get more debris in there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean those out. Got a nice stiff rag. Just want to get all that goop out of there. Ooh, there's some right in there. Boy, look at all that. Nasty, nasty. Okay, here we go, nice and clean. Get the other side. All right, so mission accomplished. We inspected all the moving components. We tightened any of the screws that might have vibrated loose. Added some washers where there wasn't any originally installed. Cleaned the horizontal channel, the lines where the wheels come through, and basically ran through the gamut. Just inspect our garage door to make sure that it's ready. Anyway, there you go. That's maintenance of all the joints and whatnot on the garage door. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I'm not a garage door expert, but this is Alex's garage, and this is one of the parts of maintaining your vehicle, is to make sure that your space that you're working on is safe and properly maintained as well. All right, there you go. Cheers.